This is TNA, the new face of professional wrestling.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Feast or Fired. I am Brian with my wife, Melanie.
Hello.
And we are doing the February 5th, 2003 TNA pay-per-view.
Sorry, it's
Weekly
so late.
pay-per-view. At this point, especially with just what's going on in our lives, it's more of a, when we can get it done, we'll get it done right now. Try to stay on schedule, but it'll be done when it's done. All right, let's get into it. I have only 3 pages of notes. Does not go on to a 4th. Thank goodness. I find less to write about when it's stuff I don't care about. So that's where we're at here. Zbyszko starts the show in the ring, holding Jarrett's world title. He does the hype job for AJ Styles and then demands that Jarrett give Styles a shot at the championship. Apparently thinking that him being the living legend makes him have the right to make this declaration. So, whatever. Jarrett comes out and is rightfully sick of other people taking his belt. He says no matter who has it physically, he is still the champion, which is, absolutely true. He also said that apparently the reason why Styles has not had a shot at the championship is because all he needed to do was come ask Jarrett, and he has never done that.
Which is fair.
I guess. Then he goes into the ring, gives Larry. Well, I don't remember if he goes in the ring yet, but he goes, says Larry to Zbyszko, you have a choice to give him the belt or do things the hard way. Larry picks the hard way. So, the hard way here being that he was going to go physically take it from Zbyszko himself. So he goes to go do that. And apparently Styles was waiting on beside the rampway and just jumps Jarrett from behind as he passes. I don't know if Zbyszko knew about that because he looks like he's trying to actually break them apart and stop this fighting. But Jarrett ends up laying out Zbyszko with a punch and taking his belt and taking his belt back. But this is right before a bunch of men in camo and masks attack him. This is actually SEX. First I thought it was like, oh my god, is this another faction of just a bunch of guys? But no, it's just SEX, Sports Entertainment Extreme, in war gear because they're at war now. Not a subtle metaphor. But first, not realizing who they were, I saw them put a bag over his head and kidnap him, and I was just like, okay, Jarrett's been abducted by Al-Qaeda.
There you have it. Jarrett's dead.
To be fair, I guess this isn't really fair because this is a WWE-related thing. There was a period of time in WWE where they had a wrestler. The actual wrestler was Italian, but he was portraying a Middle Eastern man, I think Saudi Arabian, called Muhammad Hassan, and what ultimately ended his run in WWE was that they had, unfortunately, bad timing. The same day as the London bombing was the airing of that episode of an episode of SmackDown where a bunch of guys dressed up like Al-Qaeda terrorists kidnapped the Undertaker. So, yeah.
Yeah, that would kill it.
Yeah, that killed his run in WWE and he proceeded to get power bombed off the stage and he was considered dead. In storyline, dead. Match number 1, Jorge Estrada versus Glenn Gilberti, aka Disco Inferno.
A toast.
Yeah. It was at this point I realized the guys in camo were SEX.
And not Al-Qaeda.
Yeah. Sanders joins them on commentary. Mike Sanders, the wrestler turned stand-up comedian. That's absolutely horrible.
Horrible wrestler or horrible?
I've never seen a stand-up, so horrible wrestler. I'd say Estrada's flying around doing a lot of his normal shtick, which is fine. He's great. Gilberti is appearing to mostly just be ground and pound here, kind of going through the motions. He just doesn't care.
far as, regretting every life choice.
I also say Sanders is just, on commentary, is dull and distracting, and I'm barely paying attention to the nonsense he's talking about. Most of what Gilberti does looks half-assed, like he doesn't care. Yeah, like I said. Strata wins with a backslide pin after a series of exchanging moves, then gets jumped by Sanders. The two beat him down and steal his flying Elvis suit. I guess at some point on the commentary, Sanders had mentioned he wants the flying Elvis part of it, not necessarily Estrada. So, the last of the flying Elvises has had his suit stolen.
He was the best one.
At least he won. He has been going on a losing streak, and I'm glad to see him win. Not much of a victory because you beat Disco Inferno.
Oh, yeah. I remember my notes. All right, I see my notes on this. First match is Estrada versus talk show host. Estrada wins after it felt like forever with talk show host phoning it in. Exactly what I wrote.
Yeah, that describes it perfectly.
Except, maybe not the nickname.
Maybe not. Okay, we got Goldie in the back with Bullet Bob Armstrong. I don't remember names anymore.
Sounds like me from last night, man.
We should have recorded a lot sooner after watching this.
We should have, and it was my fault.
At least it wasn't like almost a month and we had to rewatch it. But they moved past Bob's basically like we've moved past wrestling and feuds and stuff here, and he's doing what he can to find Jarrett, and he'll make sure to take care of it. I also say I note that the lights keep going out for some reason, and we're never really given a reason as to why. I don't know if it was just the lights are having problems.
I just assumed that they didn't pay their electric bill.
Well, I mean, usually lights going out and coming back on in TNA means one of two people showing up, but neither of those happened today, so. Or in this show. Can either be A, Sabu, or B, Sting. And it's been neither of them, you know?
Yeah. Well, Sabu hasn't been back for a while.
Yeah, they had him for like one taping. Well, I mean, they taped like 2 shows with him, but they had like one taping.
Yeah, I was like, I think he was only on for like 2 weeks.
I'll give Sabu credit. From what I remember, the few times I've seen him in TNA, because he was never really consistently there, he actually had pretty decent matches as far as I can remember, because he's very, very well known for like slipping and botching, even though he does just a lot of dives and stuff. But anyways, I'm getting way, way off track, probably because I care more about that than I do about the sports entertainment extreme nonsense. But let's move on.
Did you go over what's-his-face's Vince?
Did
you go over his speech? Or is that
Russo's?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to get to right now.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
So now we cut to Russo. He's wearing fake war medals for some reason. From what he's saying, I guess his plan is just to forcibly remove their enemies from the building. I don't know if that's what he's actually doing. Makes a big deal about how he actually cares about Jeff Jarrett and that, he's not going to be harmed. What I got from this is that they imply that Glenn is going to brainwash Jarrett. Disco Inferno. I say Dusty Rhodes shows up and he smacked around Glenn for a moment before going to the ring. That was funny. Poor Disco Inferno. He is just like the butt of abuse this entire show.
Yeah.
Dusty Rhodes says this is all bullshit and it's got to stop. I agree. Let's stop with SEX. Do something else instead. I don't care about this. And then he calls out the loyalists in the locker room. Truth, Lynn, AMW. And he gives them a hype talk. Gives a hype talk to all of them in the ring. And he's putting the duty to lead them on Truth. And that was basically that segment. I don't mind the rallying the troops part. With the circumstances that's going on, I don't mind this. This is fine. This is just like a natural progression of the story here, natural progression of fighting back. It's just, again, I don't care that much about SEX. Anything to add?
No, just looked ridiculous.
Okay. Okay, match 2 of the night. X Division Championship match. Sonny Siaki versus Amazing Red. Starting this match, Siaki looks like he has undeserved confidence, though he is underestimating Red, leaving Red to take advantage and getting in some kicks that seem to really tick off Siaki. And then, because he's letting his anger get to him, Red takes advantage of that and takes over the match with his high flying. Siaki does still have the strength advantage and size advantage, and he does use that to turn things around. Basically, it's strength versus speed here, even though they're both X Division guys. A good moment in the match. Red fakes out a dive onto Siaki on the outside, and then goes for a Hurricane Rana, but it is caught and swung face first into the announce desk. That looks like it sucked. Ow. Desire grabs Red's boots, letting Siaki get enough of a chance to hit the Siaki-lips, but Red actually kicks out of that. So, good on Red. They've really been building Red as someone who has got so much heart, it's hard to put him down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to yet be able to win the big one, but he has definitely got spirit and does not know, maybe even argue that he does not know when to quit. Sort of situation. So anyways, Siaki pulls a ref onto his ass while Red goes to set up for the infrared so Desire can knock Red's feet out from under him in the corner. This lets Siaki get a sit-out pile, like some sort of sit-out pile driver, and then the win. It was like this. It's the same move that Rikishi used for his finisher for a while. I don't remember what it's called though.
Sorry.
Gesundheit.
Thank you.
You don't sneeze all day, but you always sneeze while we're doing this.
Sorry.
It's just funny.
Not like I'm trying to.
It's like you really want to make us have to restart, huh?
Yeah.
Anyways, Red and Desire shove each other a bit, and then Siaki starts to beat down Red before Trinity and Kid Cash come to make the save. This is again building to the building his feud with Cash for the inevitable championship match. Considering they've been teasing that for so many weeks, I think the natural inclination would be to believe that Cash is going to win the title, even though I already know he does.
Spoiler alert.
I understand that spoilers, but it's spoilers for a 20-year-old show.
What if people are not watching it unless they hear it from if we liked it or not?
I don't know. The problem here is that I'm going to be talking about stuff that happened. I'll be talking on tangents about stuff that's, I feel relative to the point, or it helps me emphasize things. I just did. I know already Cash wins the belt, but if I didn't, I would probably assume that's what's going to happen based upon how they're building this.
True.
All right, so we finally get Did you want to add anything?
No,
Okay.
The only thing I could add was I'm getting so sick of Egomaniac and Desire with the fact that she's always helping him. It's like, okay, dude, obviously he's not that great of a contender if he can't win on his own. And I know he can.
Yeah, then he's a heel.
And it's just getting, that is so annoying.
I probably would like to see him look a little stronger.
And, that's my thing, is it's making him look like a fucking bitch. Oh, I need my girlfriend to help me. I understand that she's maybe not his actual girlfriend, but whatever. He's looking like a fucking sissy-ass bitch.
His sex friend. Anyways,
Yeah, his possible sex buddy. I don't know. Yes, baby girl.
Okay, we're gonna get that sit-down interview with Conan
I don't know.
and Mike Tenay.
I don't know who Conan is.
He was the bald, Latino man
Okay.
that's been attacking people every week with a kendo stick.
I totally thought he would be Japanese because of the kendo stick.
Or a Singapore cane, whatever you want to call it. I think they're the same thing in wrestling. I'm not positive. I've seen them both. they look the same to me when I see them called both things, so I don't know. Maybe I should look that up someday. Like, what's the difference between a kendo stick and a Singapore cane? Because, like, I'm pretty sure, like, they always say Singapore cane with, like, the Sandman. I'm talking about people you don't know.
I was just ignoring it.
Sure. Okay. Anyways, they're talking about how successful and how well Conan did in Mexico with AAA. I'm making a point that TNA was also there and witnessed all of that. His point comes to suggest the X Division is just stealing the Lucha Libre style. And TNA says he'd love to see luchadors in the X Division, and Conan is just calling it all racism. But anyways, this whole point is that, like, his reason for doing this basically is because he's got a grudge because he feels like Mexico is having their, like, identity stolen by the X Division without being included as part of it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but like we've had luchadors. I thought
who have we had that's been a luchador?
Oh no, I guess they're not luchadors.
I mean, we've had a masked wrestler.
We've had a couple masked wrestlers.
I was thinking specifically about what was this, Red Dragon, Gold Dragon? What was this called?
Yeah.
Dragon War? I don't remember.
Oh yeah, him, but also Shark Boy.
Oh yeah. He's not really a luchador either, though.
Oh, but he's masked. I don't know what a luchador is exactly.
In this particular case, both the masked guys, I'm pretty sure, are white.
Well, they do have Hispanic wrestlers. They have Estrada. They have the Spanish announce team. And
Estrada, if he was under a mask, would definitely be considered a luchador.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Red is Hispanic.
Maybe.
He's cousins with the Spanish announce team.
True.
So if they're Spanish, and I'm
usually though, a lot of luchador usually comes with the whole mask thing. So like we're not really getting that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't think everyone necessarily is masked, but a lot of them are.
I'm sorry. Again, I don't know anything about luchador.
Kind of the reason why I wanted you to see Lucha Underground. I want you to see how many of them are masked wrestlers. Not everyone in the show is, but.
Okay, honey, I can only deal with a couple of wrestling things at a time.
I made this a special.
Maybe
not all of them are Mexican either, because I'm pretty sure like Drago in that is actually Japanese, but
yes, baby girl.
All right. Moving on. Conan made his point. You know, he feels like this is racist and all that. I don't know what he said. I don't know what's getting set up there quite yet. I know what comes down the line, but I don't know if it's related.
Dude, he called TNA racist.
Yes, he did.
Multiple times. TNA's like, dude, I was right. I was there. I was complimenting you the whole time.
Mm-hmm. All right. Goldie comes to ask Bob for an update. BG James shows up to talk to his dad, but the mic dies through the speech, and I have no idea what he was saying. And then Bob just says, I have a surprise in the ring for you. So he sends him out to wrestle. In which we move on to match number 3, BG James versus Tenacious Z.
Just so we're all clear, I could not come up with a good nickname that did not make me look completely horrible.
For those who don't know, Tenacious Z is the independent wrestling name that WWE's Zach Gowen used. If you remember Zach Gowen, when he was brought in with the Mr. America character, and he's the one-legged kid. But unlike doing the surprise reveal where Vince McMahon was grabbing him and pulls the leg off, he just takes his prosthetic off on this way to the ring. No, it's easier for him to wrestle without it on.
And I understand that. All I'm saying is I could not come up with a good nickname, so I actually have his actual name on my nickname thing. Because any name I came up with was horribly, horribly disrespectful. And I felt horrible every time. I'm like, I'm going to be hated if I have this nickname, aren't I? And Brian's like, yes, you will.
She's knocking my monitors around.
Just a little.
All right, anyways. BG looks insulted by this. Z is showing heart and catching BG by surprise a lot, using mostly agility to combat him. BG had it won and pulls Zach shoulder up a few times, taunts his brother, who's a ref in this match. After the second time, BG gets into words with his brother Scott and slapped him. Z tries to get the pin, but fails the first time. But BG's brother actually decks him, and then that's how Zach gets the victory. Right after that, though, Raven arrives, attacks Tenacious Z after the match. He gets the mic. He calls him Debris. That's disrespectful.
See, I could have had so many nicknames for him.
Raven here is edgy. By today's standards, he'd be considered
oh my god,
the worst person.
Yeah.
But anyways,
and I was worried to be looking just like him.
I say at this point, I would assume with this promo and what's been going on with the belt, that this is all setting up a triple threat between Raven, Styles, and Jarrett for the title, but as far as I know, that's not happening. We'll see how it goes, though. Says Raven speaks in riddles and poetry, but it isn't, profound or anything. They start, it says they start fighting in the ring. Raven and Styles, I think, start fighting in the ring. The announce act like it's a match, but it isn't. Because there's no ref or anything. Raven then knocks Styles down. I'm like, he wanted the belt, so why doesn't he just take the belt and leave? Especially considering Styles is basically on his own, except for, Zbyszko, and Raven has the entire Sports Entertainment Extreme faction. But no, he wants to beat up Styles some more again, I guess. Raven attempts to break Stingers. Stingers. Oh my god. Raven attempts to break Styles' fingers a couple of times, but gets chased off by Zbyszko with a chair. I think Raven does take the belt with him, though. So, there's that. We get another... Did you want to add anything? I keep feeling like you should, I want you to speak. I want you to feel free to speak up whenever you're ready.
And I do. I have no problem over talking you.
Okay, I just... It's a little bit of a hard place for me to be in, because I don't want it to make it seem like I'm just zooming along, not considering what you're thinking or anything.
What I'm thinking is, this show was a half an hour longer than it had to be with bullshit.
Fair enough.
Absolute shit. And I was just like, okay, they could have had an hour and a half, and we could have been done with this a half hour ago.
So was it an hour and a half longer than it needed to be?
Maybe. I don't know. I think I lost my train of thought there.
Okay. We got another asking for update. AMW demands a rematch for the titles. We were informed that there was a tag title match tonight between the New Church and Triple X, but AMW is demanding their rematch. And James Mitchell says that they'll give them the shot once they win, and they'd be happy to, beat them up again. AMW and the New Church were about to get into it, but Bob interrupts and says that AMW, you'll get your title match, just go away. Don't be fighting these guys here. Reasonable, considering the circumstances. Especially since he doesn't have time to deal with more infighting. Anyways, match number 4 for the night. A 4 corners elimination match between David Flair, Mike Sanders, Jerry Lynn, and Ron the Truth Killings.
I have nothing to add so far.
Sorry. First thing I noted was that so many of these entrance themes sound like the low-effort music in WWE games for, generic wrestling themes. I wrote, I'm not taking any further notes except the finish. I protest Flair and Sanders wrestling.
And he did, loudly, the whole time.
All right, so here's basically what happened, the eliminations. Estrada missile drop kicks Sanders to get him eliminated. Lynn then also eliminates Flair. And then Killings immediately nails the ref with a flying forearm by accident. This lets Flair use the burlap sack with something in it on Lynn, and Ron takes advantage of that for the victory. And then Truth and Lynn get into a shoving match after.
Where people are like, oh, Eddie Gordo is against the traditionalists. And
I'd like to point out at this point, I've not said like this is the best match of the night because I don't feel like any of these matches have been that great.
no, they've been sad.
And this actually, I'll save it for the end. Anyways, Goldie with Triple X. It's just them giving her crap. I don't care. Match number 5, Desire versus Trinity, because, you know, I was so wanting to watch these two wrestle each other.
I think this is the best fight.
I say, remember, there's no women's title yet. So this is stupid. Anyways, I say Siaki super kicks Trinity as she's chasing Desire. Wow. I can't believe they did that.
Sorry, I love my notes on this.
Mm-hmm.
Which is 5th match is a chick fight between Trinity and Desire. I don't care who wins. Desire slaps Kid Rock lookalike. Then Trinity gets super kicked by Egomaniac.
You took more notes on this match than I did.
So Desire may win with help from Egomaniac. Oh, I was wrong. Trinity won. Egomaniac tripped like 3 times trying to break it up. That... I'm sorry that my notes were like that flippin' weird.
Again, a little loud. It's starting to get picked up on my mic.
Sorry. I was so excited because like I actually got to do one. Yes.
I'm going to start. You know what? From now on, I'm letting you take the lead on all the female matches.
Why?
Because you seem more invested in those.
Not really. I was just...
I'm okay, but when the Knockouts division starts up and we've got the beautiful people and Gail Kim, definitely making you do it.
All right. Well, you're going to get more notes like that.
That's fine.
But no, I was invested in this one because I thought it was hilarious. And I felt bad for Kid Rock lookalike.
Okay, just for the comedy factor, this might be the best match of the night.
I told you it was like the best match of the night.
But it might not be the best technical match, but like from with a card full of turds, it's the best turd.
That's so nice.
It's the least digested, so least gross looking. But it's not the best turd.
And all like
I don't know what else to say.
Like we had to rewatch the end part like 3 times. Because at one point in time, Kid Rock holds Trinity and Desiree falls back.
Desire.
Sorry.
Desiree?
I keep calling her that.
Okay.
That might be her nickname, just so we're clear.
Okay.
She falls back, and I'm like, wait, what the hell did Kid Rock look like do? And so Brian had to rewind it twice, and I'm like, he was just holding her pants. And probably giving her a major Trinity a major wedgie.
Yeah, the finish came when Desire was going to do a move on Trinity in the corner. Kid Cash held on to Trinity's tights to prevent Desire from performing the move. Then she hits the moonsault and gets the pin. I noted that Siaki was trying to get in the ring like he was going to break up the pin, but that would have just resulted in a DQ anyway, so what good does that do?
Oh, remember he tripped Trinity also, and he was like acting as the... Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and he
was almost like trying to blame the cameraman.
Yeah, he was.
That was weird.
This one was like a comedy one. I
considering Desire and Trinity really aren't great. Trinity far better than Desire, but playing it for comedy may be the better route to go. So maybe they realize that.
And that might have been why he tripped 3 times trying to break it up.
I mean, I think he wasn't supposed to reach it, regardless.
Yeah, he wasn't going to reach it. He did not need a fake trip.
You see that in tag matches too, where when the finish comes, you'll see someone like not make it in time.
Okay, do they not make it or do they trip?
It's like they get hung up on the ropes or whatever that slows them down to prevent them from getting in there. And they'll play it up that way to make it look like, you know, I tried, but I just couldn't get there in time.
See, I would totally have accepted that, except he didn't.
Okay, but it can be tripping too.
It was the excessiveness of like the 3 trips. I was like, oh, okay.
I was more confused as to what his plan was because it would have been a disqualification. I know the match doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but like, what good does? Let's say there was something on the line. Like, let's say if Trinity wins, Kid Cash gets to pick the stipulation for the championship match or something. Or if they win, Desire's not allowed to be at ringside during the match. Something like that. Something with actual consequences. Okay, so if that were the case, what would getting Desire disqualified have done?
True.
It would have still won Trinity the match, and they still would have gotten the negative consequences.
The trip was
that was
funny.
that was just the point I'm making.
Oh yeah, I understood the point, honey. I'm just saying the fact that he tripped 3 times was funny.
Okay.
That's where I was, and we had to rewind that too to make sure that he did trip.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay.
He made himself look like he was tripping.
I'm like, okay, were your shoes untied? What happened, dude?
I think it was probably intentional.
It was hilarious.
Oh, I'm not saying that stuff like that can't be hilarious. Absolutely.
All right, on to the next match, because I think we drove this one to the ground.
I didn't even have that many notes.
I know, which is sad.
Match 6, tag titles. New Church versus Triple X. Just Skipper and Loki out there. I don't remember seeing... Was Daniels out there at all? I don't remember seeing him.
I don't remember seeing him either.
This starts with brawling on the outside, which is pretty standard for the New Church. I say this brawling is getting so wild it's taking out ring crew, because it was. Triple X finally gains control after Loki fakes a knee injury and pulls a ref down to take a cheap shot at Slash. This is when they finally got in the ring. Like, they were losing, and they had to do this to take control back. Just on the notes from the match, they keep Slash in for almost the entire rest of this match. Skipper's got some sort of like leg lock on Slash in the corner, and with the ref distracted, Loki actually climbs onto Skipper's back during this submission hold, and he's standing on Skipper's shoulders. And I'm like, I don't know if that actually makes the hold hurt more, but that was interesting to see. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Say Slash is beaten up for like 10 minutes straight, and his first chance to turn things around, and it's his first chance to get in some offense against the other two, and he chooses to do his whirly bird thing.
Oh my god, I got so annoyed at this.
I'm just like, how are you not a comedy character?
This part pissed me off. I was just like, okay.
All right. After Loki fights out of a chokeslam attempt, he gets to the corner, and James Mitchell grabs hold of Loki to stop him from doing a dive. The ref just sees this and starts doing a 5 count, like it was just a hold in the corner, which irritated me, because I'm like, no, that's outside interference. You don't just let him have a 5 count. He's not in the match.
I'm not gonna lie, I was so lost for this match because like he didn't like shampoo commercial in like half the time, but he was okay with Loki and Primetime in.
I'm just making note of the fact that 5 count was ridiculous. You don't do that.
I have also accidentally changed shampoo commercial's nickname in my notes to Evil Shampoo Commercial.
Oh, okay.
I didn't notice.
I guess he is evil now. After Loki fights out of a chokeslam attempt by Brian Lee, he gets to the corner and James. Oh no! I just wrote this. I just went over that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Slash gets a near fall. Oh God! I am skipping stuff. Okay, the distraction by Mitchell grabbing hold of Loki gives Skipper time to hit Lee with a chair shot for a near fall. Slash gets a near fall himself with a reverse DDT on the chair. Ref bump leads to chaos, and a second ref comes out just in time for the first ref to come to, and then both of them count a pin for the opposite teams simultaneously. So the end of this match is a double pin, but one member of each team got a pin.
Which makes no sense because there is a legal man.
Yeah, I know. But in the chaos of all this, Scott Armstrong makes the decision to hold the tag titles, which I think basically makes them vacant.
Well, that's what happened last time.
They're either vacant, or when he says on hold, technically speaking, the Triple X might be the champions, but they absolutely have to defend it before they can get the belts back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
After this, AMW attacks, and then more SEX members join the brawl. This is a cluster jam. I'll take notes if anything significant actually happens, because it's just a lot of brawling. Bob Armstrong shows up at one point and knocks and starts beating up BG James, which was really funny.
Yeah, that was.
I wrote Raven comes out just to stand in the ring with the belt. He wasn't doing anything.
He really wasn't.
They end up shoving a bunch of the NWA loyalists into the locker room and locking it. And then the end is again Russo doing a little promo saying, we're just basically going on about how they're brainwashing Jarrett. And as he's doing this, the idea is because Glenn Gilberti is supposed to be the most easily identifiable one because he's got a different color set of slacks on, or pants, tights, whatever you want to call them, the bell bottom ones. So they're like a gray camo where everyone else is wearing just like the green and brown. So he's in this ring pacing like his world has ended.
And that he regrets every decision he has made up until this point.
All the other members of SEX have their masks on. So, as Russo's going over this, talking about that, he's talking to who we're supposed to assume is Disco Inferno. But as he's talking to him face to face, behind Russo up the ramp, here comes Glenn Gilberti in his underwear, looking like he had been tied up. And the guy that we're supposed to think was Disco originally is pointing back. Like, you really should look there. Russo turns around, sees Inferno, turns back around, mask comes off, it's Jarrett, and he attacks him, and that ended the show.
So there you have it, Jarrett's dead.
Well, yeah, it's because the logical progression is all the NWA guys are locked in a room, and Jarrett's out there alone, surrounded. What is supposed to happen?
Well, he's Superman, so.
Jeff Jarrett was Super Cena before Cena was Super Cena?
Yep.
All right.
I don't know that reference, so.
Because there was a whole thing about John Cena being able to overcome overwhelming odds no matter what.
Yeah, but I think my favorite part was, the pacing around like he regretted every decision that ever led to
If that actually had been Disco Inferno, I really would have believed he was just like, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah.
But Jarrett sold Disco Inferno as being... Jarrett sold himself as Disco Inferno being unable to believe he's doing this. Which I think is even more impressive.
It is.
Anyways. Outside of everything else, go ahead and give it your rating, and I'll give my little spiel before I get mine.
Oh my god. This was just a clusterfuck.
I've been trying not to use profanity. You really should too.
Okay, first off, that's because of what you gave to.
No. Not just for that. It's for YouTube rules as well.
Fine. This was just a cluster jam.
That's why I did that. Yep.
Of everything bad.
True.
I am giving it a fired. I would give it a double fired if I could.
Okay. I am just gonna say this before I get the thing, but I'm pretty sure everyone knows what to say. Well, not necessarily the first part, but like my rating. This, honestly speaking, may have actually been the worst show they've done so far from the 31 we've seen or so. I can't think of another one that I just did not care in the least about almost every match.
Yeah, you would have at least had one that's like, oh, this was the best match, but you're like, nope, all of them sucked. I hated all of them.
They weren't all absolutely terrible, but none of them stood out as anything special. The X Division title match probably was. Did you just unplug yourself?
No.
Okay, I don't know what that was then.
Lucy.
Oh crap. Anyways,
I was trying to get her to.
technically speaking, the Amazing Red
Ow.
Siaki match was probably the best match, but I was not very invested in it because of just the circumstances surrounding it. So, anyways, obviously I'm giving it a fired this week. Really hard to say might be the worst show they've done and not. But yeah. And that's where I'm going to leave this.
So there you have it. Double fires from both of us.
Fired from both of us? Yeah.
Double fired is what I meant.
You fired. I am looking forward to more shows that I can say feast on in the near future. I don't know if we're going to be able to get that until after we get past this Sports Entertainment Extreme storyline. What?
How long does that last?
I don't know.
I can tell you what I'm really excited about, but it's going to take years.
What?
Sting.
We get Sting in 2003 and then not again for a little while.
Yes, I want him permanent.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't like wrestling, like, at all.
Why would you care about Sting then?
My favorite. I don't know why.
Okay.
What?
Because he adopted the crow look?
Maybe.
Maybe. All right. Thank you for listening, everyone. I appreciate it. And we'll see you next time for another episode of Feast or Fired and another 20-year-old TNA pay-per-view.
More than 20 years now.
20 years in a month and so. Yeah.
Again, sorry for the delay.
Life happens.
Life does happen.
Take care and keep on wrestling.
Have a good night.